So the first thing, when you're answering the door, or when they're answering the door and you're getting ready to go into your thing, you got to have the face on. You got to be ready. You have already prepped when you're there. You're smiling and you're ready for whatever they throw at you. And the first thing out of your mouth is usually,
just real quick.
Hey, just real quick.
Okay, everybody, welcome to this edition of Just Real Quick podcast.
Just real quick.
Just real quick. So yeah, guys, I got Jefferson Rogers here today checking in. This is Jared Everett, your regional manager. So yeah, we are going to jam on some urgency with coordinators on the door. So it's super important, and that's really what drives most of our business is coordinators understanding how to place that urgency, and then the directors coming in, follow suit, close that thing down. So we'll get this thing going. First thing we want to talk about, guys, is the belief and conviction. So let me pass it over to Jeff, see what he's got on that.
We want to try and outfit you guys with everything that you need every week with a little 15 to 20 minute training. And today just so happens to be urgency. One of the most important factors for you to be able to see success out on the doors is to be able to convey that urgency in a way that the customer can understand it. And one of the first steps is that you have to believe and understand it very clearly about what we're offering and what the urgency actually applies to. Of course, we're here to help them get some windows. But if you don't understand the psychology in the script, how we're generating that urgency with people, it's not going to come across in a way that they're going to understand it either. So we want to help you with a couple of things that are going to help you understand where in the script the urgency is and how to emphasize it a little bit better in the future with confidence and enthusiasm and a clear articulation of how this plays out. So the first thing, when you're answering the door, or when they're answering the door and you're getting ready to go into your thing, you got to have the face on. You got to be ready. You have already prepped when you're there. You're smiling and you're ready for whatever they throw at you. And the first thing out of your mouth is usually,
just real quick.
Hey, just real quick.
Yeah, well, it's actually, hey, how's it going? Introduce yourself. I'm Jared with JKR Windows. Just real quick, just want to stop by and let you know. So the just real quick, guys, the reason why we have that is because if they don't have a lot of time or whatever it is, they're gonna say, hey, I don't have a lot of time, but you're avoiding that objection before it even comes, because you say, hey, just real quick. What that means to them is it's not going to take very long. Now, even in that opening kind of statement, what we're saying is, hey, we're running a retail campaign in your neighborhood in about 3 to 4 months from now. Now, we're looking for up to 2 homes that we can use for advertising. And when we're talking about urgency, guys, they're not just words and statements that we say because it's in the script. We don't say it just to say it. There's an emphasis on it. So when I say, I'm only looking for up to 2 homes in this neighborhood, you're using your non-community or your nonverbal. So, 2 homes in this neighborhood, you're emphasizing, you're pausing. That's where the first bit of the urgency comes in, just there. And now when they're opening that door and they see you got that smile on your face, and I mean, guys, that's your office. And there's also, there's an earnest, there's an urgency just in the way you're going about it, because look, this deal is only good for 1 to 2 people. And that's why it's so important, say, when we're doing same days or anything like that, those close ratios are so high because that urgency is right at the top of mind. When we set appointments out next week or 3, 4, 5 days, we lose on that urgency. They forget about it. By the time if it confirms and the director goes and runs it, they act like they have no idea that there's a first come, first serve or anything like that. And a lot of times they're turned off by that point. So it's super important that we're emphasizing the urgency right away. We have the conviction and the belief that, look, there's only 1 to 2 spots available. I would love to use you, but hey, if it's not going to work for you, we're going to go set up your neighbors instead.
If you're not using the urgency, we just get lumped in with everybody else that just does estimates. And we're there to help them with some windows. We don't want them to go to anybody else because they're going to get taken advantage of and they're going to get an inferior product. So the reason we use this stuff is because we know that it's going to give us the best chance at getting a sale.
Absolutely.
And if you're saying, we're going to be out here for the next couple weeks, we're going to talk to all your neighbors, we're going to help everybody with Windows, then there's no urgency. There's not an opportunity. And they're just like, you know what? I'm a little too busy. We got too much going on. If there is not urgency and an opportunity for them to be a part of, most people could care less. Unless they were talking about Windows over breakfast this morning. You're all going to run into some of those laydowns occasionally. But we're not looking for just laydowns. We're trying to have a high closing ratio and high probability of every single time we talk to a customer, we got a chance of getting in front of them and getting a sale. And if you set it correctly, the way that we've designed it with our script, you're going to position your director so good that you walk in there and they're ready to sit you down at the kitchen table. They know it's going to take 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes more, depending on how much BSing you do. And they know they're going to have to make a decision today because it's first come, first serve. At the very least, I can give you a little bit of time, but I got 2 or 3 more appointments tonight. And somebody's going to take advantage of it. I would hate for you guys to miss out on this opportunity. These are some of the things that the more you understand how your directors are getting this deal closed and how it affects setting them up for the best opportunity to get a close, when you set it, the more of an emphasis you can have, the more present you can be when you're saying these things, because you want a reputation for setting dang good appointments. Am I right?
Absolutely right. There needs to be an expectation that they're going to close. That's the best coordinators that I've had, the best I've done as a director, and especially the synergy that I get going with a coordinator. Like, we expect success. I expect for them to lay it all out, and then I go in there and I just knock it down.
And I know all of our other directors that close at a high ratio have the exact same expectation.
Yep.
And they go in there knowing that they've put in the work, they've got the reputation, and they've got the tools in the tool belt, no matter what that customer throws at them, to get that job done. But before he ever has an opportunity to get in front of the customer, it gets prepared and positioned and teed up by the coordinator.
And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it teed up so well that the people, they're like, so is this spot still available? Like, do I get the spot? Like, they're concerned that we're going to give them the spot. It's not that, like, hey, we're asking them for, do they want to be an advertising home? They're asking us if we still have an available spot and can they get it? And that's one thing I remember when Obadiah first started as a coordinator. I don't know how many times I had people, so do I get it? Well, hey, you know what? I'm here. We made you the offer. Let's go ahead and make it happen for you. And they're just super excited. Yep. So that's how well, when you have the belief and conviction, that's how well it can be played. Like, they're nervous whether or not they're even going to get the spot. I mean, that's what
you're going for right there.
That's what you're going for. And it's not, when we're setting the appointment, guys, it's not give. There's some give and take. That's part of the urgency. Now, you know what? This might not be for everyone, but if we were to choose your home as one of our advertising homes, what we'll do for you. Now, the reason why you say that is because if it's all give, there's no exclusivity to it. So we want to say, hey, this is not for everyone. So now it starts making it more exclusive. And when something's exclusive, they're naturally going to be a little bit more urgent to get that.
Absolutely. That's the opportunity. If there is no opportunity and if there is no urgency, you can assume that there's not going to be a deal either. So we've designed this thing with all the psychology to help set you up for success. And you want to have a reputation with all your directors for being the guy that does that at a very high level, because it changes the way that they go in there and run that appointment depending on who set it. Because I know back in those days when Obi was setting appointments, if an appointment was on the board in Obi's name, there's a good dang chance it's showing up as green later on today.
Oh yeah. And that was the same thing time again for Bobby when he was setting directly for me. I mean, we had like an 80% close ratio. It was astronomical. I mean, I had a month where I think I closed 23 deals, and about 15 of them were Bobby's. And it was just crazy, like how many deals in revenue we were able to generate. It's because we both had the belief and conviction. We were singing the same song. He was teeing them up perfectly, and I was knocking them down. So guys, this is also really important that you do get out there, you sit through appointments with your directors. So you're able to see that back end kind of, it's an understanding of the story. We're telling these people a story. So for you to understand the part that you play in this story, it's really important for you to be, understand how the whole story comes together. And that's running the appointment with the director. And like I said, you start developing similar word tracks that you use. And there's kind of a theme to how you said it.
You pick up on confidence. Like you sit through an appointment with Obi or Andres or Jared or Blake or James. These guys have so much confidence in what they do and how they present it and the way that they build urgency and they talk about the opportunity that you have no other choice but to absorb that. And you can take that now and apply it on the doors. So the more of those appointments you can get on, the better. Not just so you can understand the process better, but also because you're getting around some of the best in this company and the way that they present and the confidence that they have. And that's what you're trying to emulate, is the best.
The best of the best. Yeah, guys. And then just to get a little bit further in the script, we go over some different things, but then we get to the point of actually setting the appointment. And when we're talking urgency, what better urgency than a same day?
Same days.
Same days, baby. So yeah, the same days, super important. And the way that I like to position them, it's really of like, look, we have it. There's different ways to go about it, but I like to start naming off neighbors that I've already set appointments with. Okay, well, I've already set Bob and Jill across the street, Lisa and Alan. We set them down the road, and they're scheduled for tomorrow morning. So best thing would be is if we can get you guys in tonight. Have my director stop by, go over everything with you. I mean, if it lines up, makes sense for you, it makes sense for us. Absolutely, we're going to ask you to move forward and be an advertising home for us. But hey, if it's not working out for whatever reason, it really doesn't matter what the reason is. It's not a big deal. We're just going to go run an appointment with one of your neighbors. We'll get them set up instead. So I have a 6 o'clock and an 8 o'clock available. Which one of those are going to work better for you for tonight?
Duplicate of choice. Some of you guys have heard of that. Some of you haven't. But if you haven't, remember this moving forward, that you always want to give them 2 chances. So I've got some availabilities today, or would tomorrow be better? Or if you've already established that you're going for today and it's open, I got 6 o'clock, or would 8 o'clock be better? And then make sure you're asking the questions too about the availability of the spouse. Is that a good time for your spouse as well? What time does he usually get home? 6:30? Okay, so what if we did 7 o'clock, get him a little time to settle in, or maybe 7:30? So you're still given 2 options. No matter what, you're doing a Monday or a Tuesday, today or tomorrow. We're doing 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So they don't have to think about all week. If you say, what's a good time for you guys this week? They got all 7 days to think about.
Yeah, it's too much to think about. And the easiest thing to do would be to say, hey, you know what? I really don't have time this week. Maybe sometime next week will work. Or, actually, let me just get a card from you.
Yep. You guys have heard that before.
Yeah.
And if you hear that, you're not being specific enough.
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of, again, the conviction that comes behind it and the belief. Because if you're trying to set a same day or push this urgency and it's just lackluster, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I've heard that before. But, I mean, you're looking them dead in the eyes. You're nodding your head like, hey, this is all we got available. We really got to get you in. Joel was telling me about how or same day Stockton's formula. So if you guys don't know about same day Stockton,
shout out same day Stockton.
Same day Stockton. I mean, literally the day I passed his script off, he went out and got 2 same days. He did the same day samurai, 2 same day closes. The day he got his script checked off.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to start off, Stockton.
Yeah. And I think maybe 3 sales total he's gotten that weren't same days. The rest is just same day Stockton.
Well, sounds like we need to work on diversifying his approaches a little bit.
He's all same day. But what Joel told me is like, look, this is Stockton's process. He's like, look, I only have 2 of these available. They're not going to be available by tomorrow. I really, really want to give you guys this opportunity.
I would hate for you guys to miss out on this opportunity.
I would hate for you guys to miss out on this opportunity. So you know what? My director, he's going to be available at, you give 2 time slots. Because again, it's those options, the duplicate of choice. Because if you just say, well, hey, I want to give this to you, or when are you guys going to be available? They might not be available, but he gives that duplicate of choice, and it's super easy. Say, my kids, for example, I took my son Easton out last night, and I was like, okay, so do you want to go watch a movie, or do you want to go bowling? Made a choice, and we went and did it. Simple as that.
Instead of,
what do you want to do?
What do you want to do tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We could go round and round and round and maybe just end up going home and watching a movie or watching TV.
You can apply it in everything in your life. That's Absolutely. What's cool about learning sales, is it ends up being communication skills, negotiation skills, and confidence in yourself that you take into every other area of your life.
Absolutely. But yeah, guys, those are some big things when it comes to urgency. The conviction.
Why do we have such an emphasis on same days?
Because they close, baby.
The closing ratio is ridiculous on same days.
It's ridiculous on same days. And the reason why, guys, is, again, urgency. Urgency is never more relevant than it is the same day that they spoke with the coordinator. Like I said, if you get to a point where it's 4 or 5, 3 days, week, 2 weeks out, they have all but forgotten about the urgency, and even taken aback when the director starts talking about urgency in the meeting. Whereas it's fresh on their mind right there that day. All expectations have been set. They know that they need to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And again, guys, we don't want to come off as like needy or that we need them. It's really nonchalant, because guess what? There's going to be 2 homes that we set up in every neighborhood that we go to, no matter what. They're always there. So how we get there, it might be a little bit different, but there's always going to be those 2 homes. That's what I found as a coordinator when I started rocking and rolling. I always got 2 homes in every neighborhood, every single one. And so again, it's important to not be needy and make them feel like you need to sell, because guess what? That 1 or 2 homes are going to be there no matter what. Guys, I would love it. I would love for you guys to have this opportunity. But at the end of the day, not a big deal. That's why I've already set 6 appointments in your neighborhood. It's only 1 or 2 that I need for advertising. So we'll go set up your neighbors instead. Mm-hmm. Yep. And what I found, it's really important. Like, I like to say neighbors. I like to start naming off people. I don't say area, because it's more vague, I would say. When you dial this thing in and you start naming off their neighbors and you say, this neighborhood, I specifically chose your home for this neighborhood. All those things, those are all those key points to have it make sense for them with the urgency.
Okay.
But yeah, guys, that's about all I got. How do you feel? You feel like we covered that pretty good?
Yes, we're going to be bringing a lot more training to you. This is just a short little snippet on urgency. And there's a lot more detail to go into. There's a lot of different approaches than what me and Jared do. So get out there with the best. Surround yourself with people that are operating at a high level, that are just confidence through the roof, that are getting sales back to back to back. I'll guarantee one thing that they have in common is they're pushing the urgency. Those guys eat, sleep, and breathe urgency. And the only reason that we have been successful as we have is because of this script. And if you use the script, it works. I have 9 years of experience that this script works. And what some people have a tendency to do is they want to come in and change it. They think they can do it better. They think it doesn't quite sound like them. But I'm telling you, it does. They just haven't internalized it to a place where they can personalize it and bring out their personality and their body language and their facial expressions and just be smooth. Because I wrote the thing, and I don't sound like a robot.
Not at all. And I don't know if, for those of us who've had the pleasure of knocking with Jefferson, I mean, you knock 5 doors, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 appointments?
Almost every time.
Almost every time. It's that belief. It's that conviction. Mm-hmm. And there's just, something a little bit different about him compared to the last person that knocked their door. It's because, again, that belief, that conviction, and lest we not forget, guys, we're a people development company that just so happens to sell windows. So it's those little things that we do to develop ourselves that set us aside when we're standing right there on their porch. Time and time again, we have I don't know how many deals we've had where they're like, we've never been open to having door-to-door people come in our home, but there was just something different about your coordinator. And then one of our directors comes and follows it up with possibly even better conviction and belief. And they're just happy as can be. It's all the way that I like to sell, it's all high fives and handshakes when I leave. Mm-hmm. They're excited. I'm excited because, guys, it's awesome. We're providing so much value. We're giving the best windows with the best energy efficiency, the best warranty, the best services for the best price. It doesn't get any better than that.
Nope. But you got to believe it.
Got to believe it.
So if the belief is not there, it's going to show in your results. So every single day, you got to start back over and build that belief back up and get it back to where you need it to be on those doors, and you can bring all that energy and excitement and enthusiasm to every single door. And one of the common things about sales, whether you're training people or whether you're out there talking to customers, is the fatigue that's possible if you don't get your mind right and if you don't stay on point. Because realistically, we just do the same shit over and over and over and over. And you can't get fatigued by that. You got to show up to that next house, no matter what happened at the last one, no matter what happened last week, no matter what they said. And you got to say the same thing with the same amount of energy and enthusiasm to give yourself the absolute best chance at getting that thing set up.
Absolutely. It's the conviction. It's the belief, guys. Now, one thing that I wanted to cover, I know that we're getting a little long on this, but I know I've made mention of Bobby several times. Something that he does, even when he doesn't set the appointment on the door, like on the spot, he sets so much urgency that at least once or twice a week, he's getting calls back for people to set appointment because they understand the urgency and they want to get on the schedule. Mm-hmm. You know, I talked to my wife, I talked to my husband, I thought about it a little bit. Let me get on the schedule. I want to see what this is about.
Yep. Boys doing all the right things. Appreciate you, Bobby, for the leadership, for your example. That's it for us for today. And until next time, Jefferson signing out.